I am Harsh, and today I have Jitin Hingorani with me. And I've known Jitin for the longest time, I think more than a decade now.
More than a decade for sure. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
welcome to BedCast. And
Thank you.
this is episode 4. And Jitin, I'm really excited to talk to you because I think, Jitin, you're someone who have lived in America for 33 years. But while you lived here, you've done so many things. So many things. Now you're a producer, you have a talent agency, you have so many things which are running right now. But Jitin, I would like to know just a little bit for the audience, what aspects of filmmaking and media, and you've always been on the other side of interviewing actors and celebrities, and
yeah.
I'm very excited to put you on spot and ask you questions now.
Yeah, and this is a very interesting setup. I'm sitting on someone's bed. I've never done a podcast on a bed. I've done other things on a bed, but not a podcast.
Yes, but Jitin, I mean, please, I mean, tell the audience about how is your journey been so far, and how your mood and I mean, what motivated you to do what you're doing now, and of course, every step you did different things have taught you, you know,
Absolutely. Yeah. So, first of all, Harsh, thanks for having me. I'm so excited that you've launched this podcast. I think we go way back more than a decade. And yeah, in my previous avatars and my 25 years in the media and entertainment industries, I started off as a television reporter. In fact, I was the first Indian male on Texas television. This was back in 1999, circa 1999. Then I moved to New York. I had my own PR company. I did film, arts, entertainment, fashion PR. Then I moved to Dallas and I started my own film festival, the DFW South Asian Film Festival. I ran for about 8 years. And now I've reverse migrated to India and I live there full time. And I've started my own production company with my business partner, Kanchan Kalra. And she has a talent management company that she runs. And I have taken over the actors vertical and I manage a few actors on the side as well. So it's definitely been an interesting journey, 4 different careers in my different decades of my life in different cities around the world.
Right.
But they've all taught me, I think, how to be a good project manager and how to be a good producer. I think at the end of the day, I mean, if you look at every single film, it's like a startup.
Right.
Every film is its own startup. It needs its own CEO, it needs its own infrastructure, and it needs a person who comes with the knowledge of the different facets of what producing entails.
Right.
My television career taught me about cameras, it taught me about deadlines, it taught me about being live and speaking in public, right?
Right.
My media and my PR background taught me how to promote a film, how to get it out there, how to interact with the press, how to work with their deadlines.
Right.
My journey as a festival curator taught me how to appreciate cinema, to know what audiences like, what films work.
Right.
And I feel like all of these attributes have come together for me now to be embarking on a journey as a producer, and a good one at that, I hope.
Yeah. I mean, you will do amazing because Jitin, I think I've met you like every time I met you at a festival or at some event, or or maybe we have had reasons to meet.
Your film actually won at my festival, didn't it? I just remembered your short film won
Yes.
best short film at my festival, the one you directed. Yes. I remember that. Yeah. Fantastic film.
Yeah, thank you. And you were shouldering that festival for so many years, and I feel that I think Jitin, over the years, I feel that you have so much of knowledge, just meeting people, dealing with actors, dealing with filmmakers, and I feel that your potential is much more bigger than what you've been helping others with, because I feel that in this whole grind of helping others brand themselves, somewhere we stop focusing on ourselves.
Right.
And I feel that this is an amazing time where you are independently building something for yourself, and I mean, I feel that you've done it in different countries now.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
why India? And I want to understand, what potential do you see in India right now?
Man, India is where it's at right now. I can't even emphasize how quickly and rapidly India is progressing. It's growing. Even everything from the infrastructure to the mindset of people to the content that we're creating. My God, the content coming out of India is absolutely fantastic. I mean, we're winning film festivals around the world.
Right.
People are loving, our films like Homebound and All We Imagine Is Light, and most recently the film that won at the Venice Orizzonti Film Festival. I mean, it's great. Indian filmmakers are really kind of reaching global audiences in ways we never have before.
Right.
And I think that why India? Because it's my motherland. I've always known that I was going to go back to India. I lived in the States for 33 years. I moved here when I was 13, a very impressionable age, and I was devastated to have to move to America and start kind of all over.
Right.
I did it. I managed to do what I did here in my career, and now I'm so thrilled to kind of be in India in this last chapter, right, so to speak, because I know India is where it's at. I'm excited to be at the heart of where the content is being created.
Right.
I'm excited to be at the source where the content emerges
Right.
and comes to you as a producer. Like some of the scripts I've read in the last year have been extraordinary scripts.
Right.
And the writing coming out of India and the talent in our country is mind-boggling. And if we nurture that talent well, we can really, really go to become the best film industry in the world. I really think that we can give Hollywood a run for its money, because if we just nurtured our writers, if we nurtured our editors, if we nurtured and taught better screenplay adaptations and all of these things that the West is doing incredibly well.
Right.
Because, it's not like they're any more intelligent. They're just honing their craft. They're studying.
Right.
And all we need to do is create these opportunities for people to study the craft before they get into it.
Right.
And I think that's where we've been lacking, but I definitely see that we are catching up.
Right.
We are making strides in fast and furious ways, and I think that India is going to be the next big thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Jitin, I think somehow I've been exhausted myself when I go to a festival
Mm.
and I meet any American or like someone who has traveled internationally,
Right.
to meet me at a festival. The way they recognize Indian cinema as Slumdog Millionaire, and if that's the only cinema they remember,
Yeah.
kind of puts a question, because
And that's not even Indian. That was a British film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of like, there has been a culture of, kind of like marinating the chicken and eating it right away. Right. But now, I mean, you mentioned that there were 17 South Asian film festivals.
17 South Asian films and web series at TIFF.
Active.
Thanks to Meenakshi Shedde, who's a world-class curator in our country. She brought those projects to TIFF and, worked obviously in tandem with the team there. But 17 South Asian projects out of 80 projects I think they had in total.
Right.
And look at how many were South Asian.
Right.
And they got some 8,000 submissions.
Right.
So, and I'm seeing this at every festival.
Right.
I mean, Payal Kapadia, being on the jury of Cannes,
Right.
that's a humongous deal.
I think I really feel that, I think she has done a great job. And I'm not just her, like, anyone who has been to Cannes representing our films over there, because, there was a time where our actors used to go there for photo shoots.
Right. Right.
Now the actors are going if they're invited.
Right.
So there's a huge change.
There's a huge change. And the films are being invited. The films are being invited and they're winning.
Right.
And juries are picking them.
Right.
And audiences are picking them.
Right.
So I'm telling you, Indian filmmaking is really at the precipice.
Right.
If we nurture independent cinema,
Right.
and we nurture the stories and the writing coming out of India,
Right.
we can give Hollywood a run for its money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, I think, you lived here for 33 years. I mean, the lifestyle over here is sometimes very cookie cutter, right? Very perfect.
I wouldn't call it perfect.
Right.
I mean, looking back in retrospect, it's anything but perfect. I also think that, it also depends on your state of mind. It depends on what you're doing. Sure, when I was living here, I was always doing fun and incredible things. And so at that time, life seemed perfect, right, for me in that moment.
Right.
But I think perfection is a pursuit that you have to continue to aspire to.
Right.
Like my life in India is not perfect, but I don't want it to be perfect.
Exactly.
I'm constantly pursuing
Right.
perfection. And if I stop pursuing it, then what's the point of living?
Right.
Right.
Again, I think cinema is all about imperfection. It's all about conflicts, right? And what I realize is that, the reason I said perfect is because I feel that it's so predictable, I feel, for me.
It is predictable.
If I go to India, if I go to any corner of India, I'm going to find a story. I'm
Yeah.
going to find challenges. I'm going to find conflicts.
Do you know, it's funny. I have started listening so much more now in India. I listen to my watchmen. I listen to my house help.
Right.
I listen to, public transport when I'm talking to my rickshaw driver.
Right.
I'm listening and I'm asking questions. And that journalist in me is really coming out because the producer in me wants to know where the story is.
Right.
And if there's a story here, I actually, on my phone, I start taking notes now of things that can be developed into stories.
Right.
And I never did that in the States. And I was a journalist here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
But I feel like there's a plethora of rich content and stories in India.
Right.
Everywhere you turn, there's a story.
Right.
Every person has at least 5 stories in them.
Absolutely.
And it's just a matter of listening, and it's a matter of developing, and it's a matter of mounting
Right.
these stories if you truly believe in it.
Right.
I went to a women's symposium recently, and there was a woman there, and I will not forget, I was so moved by this. There was a woman there who started a bank and a financial institution for women farmers.
Oh.
Okay. And these women were not getting loans. But this woman, she created an infrastructure for them to get loans.
Right.
And she told us stories about what these women had been through and why they were there and how they were repaying those loans. And they were success stories.
Right.
And in her, half an hour on stage, I thought of like 6 stories.
Right.
And I knew that this woman needs to be sat down with
Right.
to develop a film because it's such interesting content.
Right.
And these are just everyday stories in India.
Right. And I mean, now that you spoke about journalism, I feel that, I'm sure, like, the way you used to talk to, filmmakers or actors back then
Yeah.
might have changed and might have evolved when you're actually being an insider in their life as managing them. Right?
Well, not only managing them, but also producing them, right? Because I have a sense of now what it takes to put a production together. I think if I were to sit down now and do my interviews, they'd be much savvier. I would come across as a little bit more intelligent than I did back then.
They'll be cutthroat, right?
Yes, and I really I get it. I get it because I understand what actors go through now.
Yeah.
Because I'm managing some really phenomenal, talented actors, and I'm so privileged. And actors are complex beings. They are not as glamorous as one makes them out to be. They have their own struggles. They're dealing with their own shit, and they're not always the most secure people. They do need a little bit of hand holding and a little bit of nurturing. And I think that that goes for all of us, but especially for artists. Artists who are just so focused on just doing their craft. All they want to do is be on set. They don't want to deal with the minutia of what does my contract say, or how many meals am I getting on set, or who is picking me up. They want to be on set and they want to work.
They want to work.
That's all they want to do.
Right.
So if you make their life easier and you give them all the things that they need to just go and practice their craft,
Right.
that's when you see them shine.
Right.
And that moment, I think, is what is the most rewarding
Right.
as a manager, is when you actually have done the work to make that actor's life better.
Right.
I'm still learning. Trust me, I am very new at managing talent, but I get it. They're human beings, they're people,
Right.
and all they want to do is focus on their craft. So that's a work in progress. Talk to me in 5 years about talent management. I think I'll have done something interesting there. But right now, it's just I'm learning as well. I'm getting to understand their rhythm. They're understanding my rhythm. We're trying to work in sync. How do I be the best manager for them?
Right.
How do I? It's like being in a relationship.
Absolutely.
It's like how do you give that partner what they need,
Right.
and how do you make their life easier
Right.
while being in the background,
Right.
while taking a back seat, and while making them the center of attention.
Right. Also, I feel that, they kind of, I'm sure, like, they might be feeling so intimidated because they're also told how to speak, which sometimes I feel is a challenge because if I see an interview, I saw an interview at probably some big festival, Damn I Love, for Damn I Love. Yeah. And I saw the actors speaking, they were speaking so explicit. But in India, we have to speak for the brand of the actor, right? So do you think that becomes a challenge for when an actor speaks because they have to think about so many dimensions and if they should speak about this or not or something?
Yes, I mean, I do think that the Indian media is a bit more conservative. I think Indians in general are a bit more conservative, and actors have to play the part. In order for them to have a fan following, and in order for them to not piss people off, they have to say certain things that are going to appease. But I don't necessarily think that, at least the bunch that I'm working with, the actors that I help manage, they are very smart and very outspoken and very well groomed and very eloquent. I don't think that they are being taught what to say per se. Of course, if they're endorsing a brand, sure, they have to talk about the brand. But
Right.
for the most part, I just think they're censoring themselves more for their audience. Because Indian audiences can be a little fickle. 1 minute they love something, the next minute they love something else, the third minute they love something else. 1 minute this actor is really up, next minute this actor is really down. So they're actually walking a pretty fine line. They have to really watch it, and they have to be careful because Indian audiences are not forgiving.
Not to get cancelled and
Yeah, and not to also just be out of a favor. So I really think that yes, and I think all actors to a certain extent have to do that. They have to play a part. They have to really think about their fans. And in the States, especially North America that I know of, actors are a lot more candid and open about their opinions, the causes they align themselves with, the free Gaza, Palestine. I mean, all of that is such rhetoric here that I feel actors can take on. But in India, it's a little bit tougher to do that.
Right.
And we also have the government that we have. So it is in order to be in that favor, you have to walk a certain line. And I think that our actors have figured it out, to be honest with you. Yeah.
So there's one thing. So there's one part which is craft, one part which is sellability of an actor, right? So I mean, it's amazing that I'm talking to you and you live, life in US and India. Let's say I walk in a mall in US versus I walk in a mall in India or even on the streets as it gets. I see some of the top actors, on hoardings, pan shop, undergarment shop, every single shop, right?
Yeah.
Versus here, you will not see Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt on any of those hoardings or anything.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that impacts a lot on celebrity. The fact that what certain films are doing right now is not exposing the actors at all, just protecting them because it's too much. We're seeing gym videos, we are seeing them 24/7. That there's no excitement now, right? When a film releases, and so there is a balance. Like as a producer now, how
Yeah.
do you feel the celebrity and comes in place right now? How do you see it?
It's so important, the question you've just asked, Harsh, and I have to admit that as producers, when we're considering a cast, right, we are looking at what kind of audiences this actor has pulled in the past. What is their theatrical, earnings like? What kind of followers do they have on social media? And they have to be good at acting.
Right.
So now imagine, not only do you have to be good at your craft,
Right.
you have to have all these bells and whistles attached to you,
Right.
and you have all these pressures.
How would you order it?
How would I order it?
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
personally?
Yeah.
Oof. Oh, that's a hard question. My God, don't put me on the spot like that. Honestly, talent. I mean, without talent, you have to have craft. You have to be a good actor.
Right.
I think after that, as a producer, and I hate to say this, saleability in terms of theaters and what they've done. Then would be social media and their fan following and all of that. But then again, you look at these new actors like the Sayara movie, Sayara. Sorry, I haven't seen it yet. So Sayara, that has done so phenomenally well. I mean, yes, one of them comes from a film family, and the other one is not known. But I mean, their fan following has risen just so out of overnight, and they've become a huge media sensation.
Right.
So, and is it because of their acting? I don't know. I haven't seen the film, but their fan following now is right up there.
Right.
So they automatically become very easy for a producer to manage and a producer to handle, because you've now proven yourself, because you've delivered something huge, and you've also managed to get a fan following in the process.
Right.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what? Unfortunately, this is the way the industry works. It is not solely about talent anymore. It is about all of the other things attached to it. And I hate being the one to actually say it, but it's true. Because I have sat in meetings where actors' numbers have been discussed, and actors' followers have been discussed, and actors' last 3 films have been discussed. And it's hard. It's hard. I'm so glad those actors are not in those rooms hearing all that, because it's tough for us to even say it out loud sometimes. And sometimes they're automatically just not even given a chance because they haven't done anything relevant in the last 2 to 5 years.
Jitin, I think we spoke about followers, and we're living in a very interesting time where you have to think about social media.
Yep.
And what goes on social media and what doesn't go on social media, right?
Yep.
So when you're thinking about followers, do you think actors should focus on followers, or do you think they should focus on their craft? Because there's a lot of it's very complex, right? You're talking about star kids, they have to work on both.
Yeah.
So oftentimes star kids are focusing more on the followers and missing on the craft. How do you see it?
See, I think, Harsh, these are all generalizations. I think it's tough for us to first of all say star kids and put them all in one box. I think every actor who has a film family background, has been living and breathing that space their entire lives. Of course, they're going to be enamored by what their parents did.
Right.
Of course, they're going to want to join into that craft. And of course, they're going to aspire to be actors. Who wouldn't? It's like being a doctor's son, or being the son of a farmer. You see that your entire life, and sure, you go into that, you gravitate towards that profession.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I think
It's
it's
also their love for cinema, which we often,
we dismiss
Yeah,
just because they come from a family that happened to make it, and I think that's terrible that we do that.
Right.
And I think we really need to give them a chance to prove their worth, because at the end of the day, the audience decides. And,
Right.
like Sayara is the perfect example. You have a star kid, you have a person who's brand new, and they both managed to wow the audiences. So that's
Homebound.
Homebound. I mean, it's got Ishan Khattar and Janvi, and it's got someone who hasn't come from those families. So
Right.
I think that I think it's I think it really is about the craft. I think that's why I said the craft for me ranks number one.
Right.
Is as long as you focus on your craft and you pick the right scripts and you pick the right partners. See, because I think it's so important, and I'm learning this now.
Mm-hmm.
If each film is a startup
Right.
and you're associating your name with that film,
Right.
everyone else who's a part of that project also is associating your name with theirs. And it's not just a one-time thing. Your name is going to be associated with that name forever, because it's going to go down in history. That film is going to live on, right? It's the legacy you leave behind.
Right.
So it's so important to really think smartly
Right.
and associate yourself with the right kind of people. And unfortunately, we discussed this off camera, how certain actors didn't work for certain projects, and while they were attached at the beginning, we couldn't attach them, at the end. And that's just unfortunate. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that every film has its own journey. Every film has its own destiny. Every film has its own festival circuit to attend. Every film has its own audience to find. And that's what makes these films so interesting and so different.
Right.
If everything was the same and everything was cookie cutter and had the exact same path, how boring would our life be as filmmakers?
Right.
It is this journey of the film that makes our day to day more interesting. It is the rejection here and the acceptance there and the window that's opened here and the door that's closed there that makes that film and that project special.
Right.
And definitely the people you work with
Right.
and you surround yourself with for the next year of your life and from then on,
Right.
I have learned is a very, very important matter to consider
Right.
when you're casting or when you're putting a film together and mounting a project.
Mm.
Yeah.
You think actors helping you with networking or other aspects of filmmaking helps you a lot as a producer? Like if they are helping you, have a network or have a connection or bring you funds or anything like what do you
Absolutely.
feel?
See, listen, everyone's hungry for work. Everyone wants to make a good film. And what we are hearing over and over again now is if they're not making it, do it yourself. This DIY aspect of cinema has really kind of taken off.
Right.
If you can't find a script you like, write it yourself. Get it written yourself. Find a director who will cast you, get the funding and make the damn thing.
Right.
Because you don't have time to waste.
Right.
So if you're going to wait around for the universe to hand you that perfect script, forget it. Those days are gone. These actors are so savvy. They're so on top of their game. I mean, they are networking, they are schmoozing, they're bringing in investors. They are like finding the right scripts. They're going and auditioning and they're nailing it because they're hungry.
Right.
And that's what sets them apart, and that's who is going to succeed are the hungry ones.
Also, I've seen let's say we were talking about let's say a decade ago,
Yeah.
we were talking about 15 no directors in India. Now there are 150, right? So
Right.
now there are independent directors,
Right.
right? There are independent producers.
Right.
They're independent, not studios. I mean, I would say independent fraternities who are producing smaller.
I'm hearing of a new production house popping up almost every week. Every week in India, I'm like, oh, that's a new production house. Okay, cool. What are they working on?
Right.
So it's interesting because we just launched our production house about a year and a half ago, and it's taken us this long to mount the 3 projects that are going into production over the next 6 months.
Right.
And fortunately, all 3 of the projects are first-time female filmmakers who have both written and directed the project. So I don't know if that's our USP, but it's definitely something I've gravitated towards as the creative head of the production house. Is I really have enjoyed championing these first-time female filmmakers, and I yet to have to embark on this journey with them. But so far, with these 3 women whose projects we have about to green light and we are about to go into production with on the floors with, it's fascinating because they all have such 3 very unique different stories, very different perspectives, and they're all so talented. And all they needed was a producer to believe in them and give them that boost, and we are able to do that, and that makes me happier than anything else.
Right.
That being able to give these women a platform to be able to tell their stories and not to do it the studio route where they're going to have to cut this out or change this person or find this actor or, we are giving them complete creative liberty.
Right.
Of course, we are giving them our little bit of knowledge that we have and we are kind of guiding them along.
Right.
And of course, it's a very collaborative decision. But these women have complete autonomy on these projects. And I feel so blessed to be in a position with my business partner, Kanchan Kalra, who is a woman of substance, who does champion other female filmmakers to be able to do this for these women.
Right.
And I'm so, again, I'm so humbled. Nothing has happened yet. We haven't even shot yet. But the idea that we're going to shoot these 3 films with these first time filmmakers who are all female
Right.
and who are writing and will be directing themselves is, to me, a win.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jitin, I mean, it's amazing to see you wearing multiple hats, but at the same time, I'm sure like it puts you into a challenge that, let's say because see, you're managing actors and you're managing their profiles and helping them get work.
Right.
But at the same time, you're producing yourself.
Right.
So if you have to choose another actor for your project,
Huh.
does that become a challenge?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. See, not our actors are. You see, the thing is, like again, every film has its journey. Every actor has its journey as well. There are some roles that are not appropriate for those actors. Like we already know that our talent is not going to fit into. We'll never try to make them fit into something because that takes away from the story. See, at the end of the day, when I made the analogy of it being a startup, who's the client? The client is the script. The client is the script. Every single person has to work towards that script winning.
Oh, wow.
And that script actually being the star. Everything else is ancillary. All of us come together to make that star. But the star is the script. So if the script doesn't fit with that actor, I'm not going to force it. I'm going to find the right actor for that script. Because that actor deserves to be in that script and that script deserves that actor.
Right.
So the script is the star.
Right.
The script is my client.
Right. No, that's amazing. And I think, see, again, we have, let's say, I mean, I've done this exercise where I've Googled, top 10 actors in America.
Okay.
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 And every single actor I see is an Emmy Award winner or an Oscar winner. These are fabulous actors with their craft. Now, let's say I do the same exercise in India. Top 10 most of them came out to be models, actors or performers. Right? So
They're celebrities.
They're celebrities.
They're celebrities, yeah.
So there's clear, and it's also clear that, they get casted based on their, fame or their, their status, right?
Yes.
But do you think it's fair, and how do you think we should change where an actor gets pitched with 30 projects versus there are other actors who are much more talented who need that exposure? So how can we bring that balance?
I think the only way to do that is let the audience decide, and they already are. I mean, look at our theaters. Look at who's going to see what films.
Right.
If I watch another Ajay Devgan or Akshay Kumar film this year, like I really don't need. I don't need to. I've seen enough,
Right.
And I also think it's high time that these veteran actors and veteran producers, kind of make way for the next generation. ठीक है, हो गया यार, बैठ लिया बहुत अपने throne पे, अभी उठो and make room for the next generation to come and to be you. We need to keep this industry flourished. We need to keep going.
Right.
We need to actually create the next set of Amir Khans and Shah Rukh Khans and some. Where are they?
Right.
How are we going to do that if the same people are in the same movies over and over and over again?
Right.
We're not making way for the younger generation. We're not making way for the next crop.
Absolutely.
And I think that's our responsibility
Right.
as filmmakers to this industry.
Right.
We have to leave behind a legacy, and we can't just walk away without saying, "ठीक है, देखते हैं."
Right.
You need to create that space. You need to create those platforms, and producers are the ones who can do that.
Right.
And audiences also will do that.
Because there is also an extended problem to this, right? One is the right actors not getting the opportunities. The other part of it is, let's say an actor selects one project out of 30 projects. Other 29 projects which are rejected. Imagine the producers, the directors, the entire crew, they are getting rejected, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, the project will still go on,
Yeah.
but the actor will change,
Right.
or even the producer might change.
Right.
Again, I truly believe that each film has its own path, and each film will find the right people to be in that project. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But I think we have to think that way, and we have to really, we have to be so passionate about that film that we want to give it light and give it birth, and then we want to see it all the way through.
Right.
We want to see it through its festival journey. We want to see it do a theatrical release. We want to see it get onto an OTT platform.
Right.
Each project takes so much out of you and so much time out of your life
Right.
that if you don't love it, then you might as well not do it.
Right.
If you don't love the story, you don't love the actor, you don't love the director, you don't love your producers, don't do it.
Right.
Because that's a year and a half of your life that you have just tortured yourself
I
with.
sometimes even more. Like, I mean,
Even more, yeah.
No, I feel, I was thinking, like, Neeraj Kavan is such a talented director.
Such a talented
He
director.
did Masan 11 years ago, 12 years
10 years ago, yeah.
years ago.
10 years ago.
And then I've realized that, he hasn't done enough, but he comes back with a bang,
With such a bang.
right?
And even he's worried. Is my film going to get theatrical distribution?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so even the Neeraj Khewans of the world are scared that how is their film going to get released and how will the audiences appreciate it?
Right.
Because Homebound, from what I hear, and I haven't seen it yet, I'm dying to see it. It's coming out in theaters very soon. I'm definitely going to be, going to support the film. But yeah, I mean, you have to be. 10 years is a long time to kind of you be away. And God bless him. I'm sure he's, I'm sure he's a little nervous.
Right.
But the love that Homebound has gotten and the fact that it was a runner-up for Audience Award at TIFF shows that there is clearly, this man still has it, and he is still about, he still gets the sensibility of that generation, and he's still able to deliver. And I'm really, really excited to watch his film.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing. And again, I think, like, when we spoke about Homebound, I realized that there's always a change, and that change is so important that it kind of breaks the system. It breaks the monotony. Like, for instance, you've been in Bombay. Like, there used to be a reliance on rickshaws and taxis, right? And then if you tell them, like, bhaiya mujhe andar hi leke jana, he'll be like, nahi, lamba wala bhada chahiye. So, and they used to reject you, right? But the moment Uber came in, like, what Ola came in,
Right.
now
Rapido.
they're on a spot,
Yeah.
right? Now they cannot say no,
They can't.
right?
Yeah.
Right, because there is someone else taking the job.
Exactly.
Similarly, in the industry, like before pandemic, the culture was that, okay, put a star and people will watch it.
Hmm.
People will go to theater,
Hmm.
right? After pandemic, the whole game has changed,
Completely.
right? People are
Completely.
not going to theater, even
Yeah.
for the star films, right?
Well, I also think that it's partly because the theaters are ridiculously expensive. And I think it was Shah Rukh Khan that said, going to a theater is going to eventually become like a Broadway experience if we don't change our ways. Families are going to go out once in a year. The whole jing bang is going to go and spend, X number of dollars or rupees on that experience. And it's going to become like Broadway. Theaters are not going to be like, I remember growing up, I used to go to a new movie every Friday. And this was because I was a kid in Bombay, and I used to get pocket money from my grandparents. And I used to live across from Strand Cinema in Kolaba. And every film that was there on Friday, I used to walk across the street and go watch that film.
Right.
I can't do that.
Right.
I can't do that now.
So are there like morning shows, like 60 rupees, 100 rupees shows?
Honestly, I hate to say it, but the last time I paid for a film at a theater, I don't even remember. I've only been invited to watch films, that Friends premieres and all of that stuff. And I've been seeing films at festivals.
Right.
I can't remember the last time I actually paid to go sit in a theater and watch a film. I know I'm going to with Sabar Bonda. I know I'm going to with Homebound. There was another one that looked, this Varun Dhawan Janvi Kapoor film. Can't remember the title, but it's a Dharma film. Looks super cute, and I'm going to go watch that just for fun. But yeah, it is an experience now. It's become an outing. Like, you have to invest money into, if you want the popcorn and you want the this and you want the that and you want the parking and you want it's a good 2,000, 2,500 rupee ordeal.
Right.
And then if you're taking friends and you're taking the family, it's like a 10 grand night. So yeah, theaters have become really expensive. And honestly speaking, when the film is going to end up on an OTT platform a month from now, most people are just waiting to watch it there. And most people who can't afford the luxuries of theaters are waiting to watch it there. And you're right, the game has completely changed, which is why it's even more important for us to support and for us to go out. And I'm the last person, I should be listening to my own advice.
Right.
It's very important for us to go and make sure that these theaters are filled and that these movies are watched. That's another responsibility we have as part of the film fraternity.
Right.
We have to support our own films.
So do you think there's something happening with the theater and the prices and anything right now?
I'll let the distributors speak on that. I'm not an expert on any of that. I know my mentor Vivek Vaswani loves to talk about that. So I'll let you interview him next for your podcast to have an in-depth conversation on theaters and the theater prices and his ideas on how theaters should actually be changed in India. And he's got some very, very interesting thoughts. But yeah, I'll let the experts talk about that. I don't know it well enough to speak intelligently about it.
Right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, it's going back to the films and festivals, and I feel that our films should be celebrated globally. And when I saw Minari, at the Academy, and I'm not saying that Academy is a recognition of a good film, but when I saw, I felt proud, for the culture, and I felt that I felt relatable to their culture.
Right,
And I felt that even if I'm not lived their life,
yeah,
but a mother is a mother,
right,
even in Asian culture,
right, right.
So when I saw Minari, when I saw Past Lives, when I saw Parasite, I was missing Indian films,
Yeah, yeah.
at those prestigious,
No, but I mean, people like Guneet Monga, who, did Period End of a Sentence, who did Elephant Whisperers, she actually made that dream tangible for so many of us.
Right.
And now, honestly speaking, every film is being made, I think, an independent film is being made from the lens of how many awards can it win.
Right.
Even Karan Johar is wanting to be at festivals and be seen and win awards, and even Dharma wants to be part of that entire process. Now, Dharma doesn't need to. Dharma can make all its money on a theatrical release.
Right.
But Dharma is loving this whole notoriety and just the accolades from other people to validate that film and to show you've picked good content.
Right.
So my point is that this is tangible now. This is all doable. The academy is within our reach. We have so many members every year from India, from the fraternity, who are being invited to the academy. They're voting as members of the academy. So this is all very tangible in our lifetime.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. No,
yeah.
absolutely. And see, let's say a film does good in a festival, and I mean, you absolutely know how the hardships of making an independent film, right? And when you have people backing the film after it has won award at a festival,
yes,
to
yes,
stick
yes.
their brand, right?
I don't.
Versus,
Oh gosh, this is a tough one. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I don't think Vikramaditya Motwani and Kiran Rao and Guneet Monga and Anurag Kashyap are doing it to brand themselves. I don't really think they need the branding. They're doing it because they believe in good cinema and they want to champion these films. Humans in the Loop, the film that Kiran Rao is executive producing. What a fantastic, amazing film that is. I met the director at a festival recently, and he's doing a theatrical release as we speak of his film. And I don't think Kiran Rao had any reason to attach herself to that film for any branding purposes. She did it because she truly believed that this film needs to be watched by everyone, and she used her voice and her notoriety as a platform to enable that for the filmmaker, which I think is brilliant. And I hope someday I'm at a point in my life where I can do that for a filmmaker and say, hey, I want to help executive produce your film, or I want to come on board for this reason because I believe in your project, and I believe in your film, and I think it should be watched by more people. So that for me as a producer is an aspiration, what these producers are doing.
Right.
How they're attaching themselves to these incredible projects, that is very aspirational to me.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm really inspired, and I feel that what you're doing right now, taking all the experiences from US and India, and merging them together,
Yeah.
and ultimately serving cinema,
Yeah.
right?
Whether I do it as an Indian, or I do it as an American, or I do it as an Indo-American.
Right.
The point is, I want to champion our stories. I want to champion our voices. Even at Just Kidding Ventures, we focus on Indo-hyphenated content. So right now, we are working on an Indo-UK co-production.
Right.
We are developing an Indo-Australian film. We are working on an Indo-American project. We want to do an Indo-Estonian script that I have just absolutely loved.
Right.
So the idea is to tell stories that are Indo-hyphenated,
Right.
because those experiences are very unique and they do appeal to a lot of the diaspora and as well as to Indians.
Right.
And we don't have enough of those stories. So my goal really is to merge my experiences of being an American and being an Indian and making those stories come to life as Indo-hyphenated projects. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you spoke about script and serving the script, I want to talk about one person who inspires me a lot. His name is Arjun Rajabali.
Okay.
When I saw his filmography, I saw Gulam, and then I saw the only film which he has made more films, but his name highlighted in that film. But that man has changed SWA forever. The rights screenwriters are having in India.
Exactly. And it all starts with the script. If we don't create good writers and we don't nurture them and we don't give them platforms, then how are we going to tell good stories? It all starts with the script.
Right.
And I truly believe, like, I think someone, I can't remember who told me this, but I remember being told this very young. If you know how to speak and you know how to write, you can actually be at the top of your profession in any career you pick. If you know how to write and you know how to speak, anything you do,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you can do it well.
Absolutely.
So if we nurture our writers, if we nurture our speakers, and we give them the voices they deserve and the platforms they deserve, we are incomparable as a people. No one can compete with us.
No, and this is the era of being multifaceted. Like,
You have to be.
right?
You have to wear multiple hats.
Right.
One hat just isn't enough.
Right.
I mean, my wardrobe changes every day. My hats change every day.
No, fantastic.
Yeah.
I feel that, again, like, I think big shout out to, like, everyone who are supporting the technicians, and I think things are changing. I think part of the company you're working with
Yeah.
also takes care of the
Oh yeah, my business partner runs a fantastic company, the first of its kind, called Artisteria, that actually reps behind the camera talent. I mean, she reps your DOPs. She reps some of the top DOPs in the country, by the way. She reps writers, production designers, hair and makeup people, stylists, costume designers. And who is repping them? There's no one doing that.
Right.
She has single-handedly changed the face of the industry by repping 60 or so talented behind the camera artists, and is managing their contracts, is managing their careers, and is getting them really incredible work, not just in India, but around the world.
right.
So I think, yes, it is time to really focus on every single facet of filmmaking. It's not just about the celebrity anymore. It's not just about the star anymore. It really is about all the pieces of the puzzle that come together to make a really, really stellar film.
Right.
Yeah.
So one question I had to ask you,
Yeah.
with respect to the crew,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you're the crew culture, right?
Yeah.
The crew culture in America, the crew culture in India, right? A light stand comes with 4 people, camera comes with 4 people, 4 assistants, right? I went to my sister's set. I was on the set of the DID Supermom,
Okay.
and there were 200 people on set.
Yep.
Like 100 of them were sitting.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But it's just a culture. You cannot change that. Like, it's just the whole.
It is
union.
starting to change. You're talking about America, or you're talking about India? Yeah.
Over here, it's a lean crew.
Yeah, it is lean. It's
20
all that's needed. Yeah, everything is so lean. Yeah.
Right. Gaffers, they are the HODs of the lighting, and you have like maybe 2 or 3 technicians below them, and you can.
But
still-
Harsh, I'll tell you, as independent filmmakers and as people who are watching every single line item on a budget, we are very conscious about who's coming on set
organizing everything.
and why are they needed, and why is the editor based here, and why aren't we hiring the editor in Gujarat, or why are we not getting the crew in Gujarat? Why is our first CD not coming from there? I'm talking about a Gujarati film we're about to start shooting. So I'm referring to that budget. But every single line item is being scrutinized, because we are independent filmmakers and time is money, and then every day you spend on a set is additional monies. Where are the cameras coming from? Are we getting them from Ahmedabad, or are we getting them from Bhuj? What is more convenient? What is cheaper? Who has better talent? So all of that is being looked at,
Right.
especially from I can only speak for myself and what our production house is doing. I can't speak for others, but we are very, very money minded. I mean, we are Sindhis, me and my business partners.
So you have to be, right. I mean, you have to make sure that the money is distributed in the right areas.
Yep.
And otherwise, the film will start leaking.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And the quality will start keep going
Yes, and expenditures on set, you can see right through them. When you have so much money and you don't know what to do with it, and you just spend it frivolously on set, it shows in the quality of the work.
Right.
Certain films from this past year will not be mentioned, but yes, you see it, that they just got so much money, they didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
And then they just were extreme with it. So we keep it very lean. We don't want to take money from investors that we don't need.
Right.
Why would I take on an extra debt or take on extra burden from someone else's paycheck? I don't want to do that. I only want to take what I need, and only want to take what's going to serve the cost of the production of the film. That is, again, the script is my client, and that production is what needs to be stellar, and all the monies need to go on to the production and not the bells and whistles that go around it. So we are pretty stringent when it comes to those kind of decisions on our films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talking about money, I mean, if you have, let's say hypothetically, you have $10 of budget, how many would you keep for marketing and distribution?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say 30%. $3.
$3
$3.
for marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing and distribution has been expensive.
It's
right?
been expensive, and there is a certain number to it. I know they say X percentage of your film's budget should be spent on marketing and production, all that. And I think it really just depends on the project, and it depends on who your partners are. But yeah, I would say 30% at least, if not 40%, should really be reserved for your P&A, your advertising and your promotion. So because if you don't get butts in seats and you don't get eyeballs, then what is the point of that year and a half that you've just spent,
Right.
right?
I have a friend of mine. His name is Mustafa. He's been a filmmaker for a long time. He's also been in sports industry, and he told me a very wise thing. He told me that in India, people teach you about filmmaking. Film schools will teach you about filmmaking, but no one teaches you about distribution.
Yeah, no one
Teaches you about marketing. This
no one-
should do this.
There's no.
So there's a lot of ambiguity,
Right.
and there are only few people who are handling it, and everyone else are dependent on those.
They depend on those few people. You're so true.
So
No
how
one-
do you crack it? How do you crack it? What do you feel?
I think that it's very important for producers, especially independent producers, to know where their film is going to end up before they even make the film. They need to know who their audience is, where is it going to be marketed, which cities is it going to release in, what OTT platform will potentially look at it, possibly try to have a conversation with that OTT platform ahead of time, try to get an MG in place, a minimum guarantee in place. All of those things are really, really, really important, because the last thing you want is to make a film and for it to sit in a can for a year and a half until you figure out where the film is going to end up. That's the worst idea. It wastes, and it also demoralizes so many people, right? I mean, the last thing you want is for your film to be like, you shot the film 3 years ago, you look completely different, and your film is now releasing 4 years later, right? So it also undervalues the talent and the crew, and it's disrespectful. I feel like it's flat out disrespectful. Producers have a responsibility to figure out where these films are going to go and where they're going to end up before they make the film.
Right.
And that's the only way we can move forward.
The more I spend time in this industry, I realize that that's the real game. I mean,
It is.
you can be the most.
It is the real game right now.
Right.
But we'll crack this also.
Right.
Don't worry. It's just the challenge of the moment.
Right.
But I think in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll crack this also.
Right.
We'll figure this out. I have so much faith in our stories. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And
Yeah.
because I mean, you can be the most talented person, most talented director, most talented writer, but if the film doesn't reach the audience or it doesn't be pointless, right? It's pointless.
Yeah.
One last question I'm going to ask you.
Yep.
And it's going to be a challenging question.
Okay, gosh.
Preparing you for it.
Oh, gosh.
Jitin, I don't remember which filmmaker, but one of the Hollywood's veteran filmmakers said that no one can predict if the film is going to work or not. Okay. When I go to Bombay, I talk to gurus and they say that this is going to work, this is not going to work, this is not going to work. What do you feel about that? What do you feel about prediction about a film which is going to work or not? Do you how do you see that?
See, I've been a festival curator for a decade of my life. I picked films that I knew my audiences would love in Dallas, who were primarily diaspora, who primarily came from a higher income strata, who primarily wanted to reminisce about India, but at the same time feel nostalgic, and at the same time feel like they could do something for their country. So I knew my audience. I understood my audience, and I knew exactly the kind of film that would work for them. And that's how I picked my content. So I think to really answer your question, what we really need to do is backtrack and understand our audience and figure out who is the audience. It is easy to predict if a film will work or not, but first you need to know who is that audience. Is it that younger generation? Is it your Gen Z, your Gen X, your adults, your seniors, your festival, your diaspora, your A class, B class, C class? Who is your audience? Right? And I think the minute you kind of have a couple of those buckets in place, then I think you can decide, how the film is going to do, or you can predict how the film is going to do. But at the same time, it's art, right? It's all subjective. What I may think is the most brilliant film may not work for other people.
Right.
I remember in my 7th year of the festival, it's the first time a lifetime member of mine came up to me, and it was a centerpiece film I picked, which will go unnamed, but it was a fantastic film. And I thought I was taking a risk. It was a very, very different kind of a film, and I wanted to. It had been 7 years of curating. I'd like, okay, let me take this calculated risk. I took the risk, and this woman who I respect very much walked out and she said, this is not your brand. This is not your festival. This is not the kind of film that you should have put in your festival, because the audience is not getting it. You're trying to do something different, but you know your audience. Why are you deviating from that?
Yeah.
This piece did not work for your festival, and that's the first time she has ever said anything negative about a single film of mine that I've curated in 7 years for this festival. So that's when I realized, if you know your audience, stick to your audience. You know what I mean? Like if you really kind of know who they are, then curate for them,
Right.
make for them.
Talking about festival, Jitin, do you have any advice for young or upcoming filmmakers or people who, because see, filmmaking is one budget, sending it to festivals, that's
Oh
another
gosh,
budget.
and it's an expensive
An
budget.
expensive.
Yeah.
So right now we're living in a time where there are 10 Dada Sahib festival, and there are
Then there are also awards for the other stuff.
and there are 20 Cannes Film Festival.
Right.
Then when someone says I won at Cannes,
Yeah.
I feel that okay,
Yeah.
if you really won at the official Cannes, you don't have to say it on social media.
Social media will talk about it. The press will talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you what's your opinion about it? It's a market end of the day, right?
See, listen, my whole thing is, when you don't know something, hire the experts and hire people who are film festival strategists who actually know this business, who have done festivals, who have done film festival strategy. If you can afford them, hire them to actually get your film out to the right places. Now, if you can't afford them, then do your own research, DIY, do it yourself. Look at what films get into what festivals. Look at the track records. Look at the trends. Because I'm telling you, the festivals also know their audiences.
Right.
They know how to curate for their audiences, and they will pick films that their audiences are going to love. They're not going to take those kind of risks with their films.
So you're talking about the top festivals.
I'm also talking about the younger festivals, even the more nascent festivals. They know their audiences. They're getting to know their audiences. So I would say research what kind of films have gone to what festivals. Don't just send your film to every Tom, Dick and Harry festival. Look at the festival. Look at how long the festival has been around. Look at their credibility. Look at their, look at who's attended those festivals. Look at what that festival has done and what kind of films they have gotten out in the world. And that's when you should really then sit and devise a strategy. You don't need to apply to 40 festivals. You can apply to 20 festivals, get into 5 and be done. That's also good enough.
Right.
5 is a very good number of laurels to have on a poster, but they should be the right 5.
Right.
They shouldn't just be any 5.
Coming from owning festivals for a long time.
I didn't own festivals. I actually created a brand.
Yeah.
I created a brand that was a festival in Dallas for many years. In fact, my artistic director is trying to resurrect that festival as we speak post-pandemic, and I really wish her all the best. And I hope that Dallas does have a South Asian festival soon. So yeah.
Yeah, because for me, I used to always say, I'm sending a film to Jitin's festivals.
Yes.
Okay, so when I talk about festivals, I mean, when you see film festivals in India,
Right.
We saw together this year, signed a 17 million deal at Sundance.
Yep.
And there were, investors or there were distributors who were there.
Right.
And what was it? Coda, $25 million deal at Sundance.
That was a few years ago.
Few years ago.
Yeah.
Do you see such do you see such deals can happen in India in Indian film festivals?
Unfortunately not yet. I mean, I know some of the top Indian festivals, and not to that tune. The thing also about Indian film festivals is the buyers. There aren't enough buyers coming. There aren't enough distributors coming. There aren't enough sales agents coming. So we really need to actually focus on that as festivals. If we want,
Netflix would come to festivals in India.
Why not? They come to Tasveer.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
in India.
Why not? I mean, if they're looking for South Asian content here, why they're also looking for South Asian content there?
Right.
I think it's all about the way in which you kind of handle that relationship and the way in which they're approached. But yeah, of course, they're all looking for content. Everyone is looking for good content. And if the content is at the festival, it would behoove them to be at that festival to buy that content before someone else snatches it up, right?
Right.
It's just, I don't think we figured out that buyer thing yet. That distribution thing at our Indian festivals, while it is strong at some, it's not the strongest at others. And I think that is something that we need to crack. Especially for our Indian filmmakers, because they are really lost in terms of where is their film going to end up.
Right.
And they don't want it to end up on YouTube, and they don't want it to end up just, being for free on the online.
Right.
So, and even short films. I hate the plight of what's happening to short films right now, because there are no buyers for short films. Right. There are no platforms specifically. There are a few, Shorts TV and all these other places. But they're not paying enough. I
Right.
mean, they're not the budgets are not being recovered for short films,
Right.
and our short filmmakers, they need that first short film to then do the bigger films.
No, I saw you. I still remember I met you 4 years ago.
Hmm.
I saw that you were working very hard to actually find brand deals for short films.
Yeah.
You were trying to help short filmmakers get money to make the short films.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's clearly not going in the right direction, right?
It's not, because you know what the problem is? I'll tell you, short films are not enjoying the kind of notoriety and the audience appreciation that obviously the docs and the features are. And there is, they say there's not a market for short films. I completely disagree. I think there is a market for short films. It's all about how you present it again and how you target that audience. But yeah, unfortunately, short films, there are some brilliant short films that are coming out, and short films are so competitive, man.
Right.
Getting a good short film into a festival, and I have 3 shorts this year that I've associate produced, and I'm trying to get into festivals. It is tough. It's hard to get those. It's very competitive. There are some really good short films out there,
Right.
and surprisingly, there's no market for them.
Right.
Surprisingly, they're not being bought. Surprisingly, very few of them are being bought. Basically, I should say that. So I really hope that we focus on short films moving forward, because I think this next generation of filmmakers is definitely wanting shorter bits of content. This whole micro drama stuff that's happening, this whole industry where, this micro content is being created, it shows and proves that short content is definitely desirable, and short content is what the audience is looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
No, amazing. Jitin, thank you, for joining this webcast.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
Thank you for busting some myths. Because I think it's very important.
I don't know if I've busted any myths. I've just spoken from the heart, and I've just shared my opinions.
did. I mean-
Again, people might think, what the hell is he talking about? He doesn't know. But I'm just saying that from my perspective,
Yeah.
these are the things I've noticed.
Right.
And I want to be better at my craft. So I really am focusing on the industry. I'm reading a lot. I'm really keeping up with everything, that the trends and all of it, because I think it's so important to be educated and to be aware
Right.
of what's happening in your industry.
Right.
Only then will you learn and grow as a producer, and only then will you make the best decisions, because an entire team is counting on you.
Right. Right.
And
again, I think
yeah.
that's where we feel see, again, I started doing workshops where I just share my knowledge.
Yeah.
Whatever I've learned.
And I think bravo to you for doing that. I saw you did a kids workshop recently.
Right.
And I love that. I love that you're getting kids at an early age to, start appreciating filmmaking. And that's brilliant.
So it's very fun, because these are 8-year-old kids. They already know who are gappers and grips.
I love
It's
it.
amazing, because they're watching behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They know who are the crew.
Yeah.
They're just intrigued
Yeah.
by how filming. There was no education, right?
None.
And that's where I feel that we as independent filmmakers, we should not be gatekeepers, and we should just talk out, because that's how the community will grow.
And we have to educate the generation behind us.
Right.
We have to get them to fill our seats. We have to at some point walk away from our seats
Right.
and know when it's time to walk away, and let the next generation come and do their thing. And that is, we as responsible producers and filmmakers and industry people need to be thinking about the future of this infrastructure.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
talking about infrastructure, I mean, this camera, what you see right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
it's the same camera that was used in adolescence,
I know.
warfare.
I know. You were telling me. I feel very honored just to be sitting next to it. More honored than I'm sitting next to you. I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you. I mean, again, I think we're living in a time where, there was a time where we were busy flexing the muscles of technology. We were looking at JIPs, cranes, but, as a producer now, I'm sure you think, is it needed? Do you need JIP? You need crane? And when you see a system like this, it's a marvel, because I mean, when I saw behind the scenes of adolescents, they
Oh.
had access to big cameras.
Brilliant. It was the behind the scenes was in itself
Right.
a documentary. I thought it was so intriguing. That show really has broken a lot of barriers, and I'm so proud of them. They've done such incredible work,
Right.
and that story was really
And they're
good.
serving the script end of the day.
Serving the script.
When you're talking about ditching a camera like Red and Ari
Mm.
to taking a new camera, absolute new camera, to make a film,
Right.
and shooting the entire film on one lens,
Yep.
in
In one shot,
Right.
in one take.
one take,
Yeah.
right?
And it's brilliant.
Yeah.
But I think we're evolving. I think we're constantly thinking of new ways to present the same stories.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because our audience is also evolving. Our audience taste is evolving. Our audience, is watching more films with subtitles now. It doesn't matter what Indian language your film is in.
Right.
It doesn't matter that you're doing a regional film.
Right.
Regional films, I think, are also the wave of the future, because I think those audiences are so loyal And the theater prices are so much cheaper in different regions of India that people actually can afford to go to the theaters and watch a film every Friday.
Right.
And those audiences really love hearing films in their own language. But at the same time, a good Gujarati film can be watched by anyone in the world.
Right.
Because we are becoming so attuned to reading subtitles now, and thanks to the pandemic, the filmmaking industry has changed in that sense, and audience tastes have changed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what when Bong Joon-ho, when he said, when he showcased Parasite at
Yeah,
Oscars, he
yeah,
said
yeah.
that when we're going to move away from the barrier of subtitles, that's when cinema will grow.
Right.
And we are moving away from the barrier of subtitles. We are watching the films in their original language.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Like, I cannot stand a film that is not in its original language. I have to go back and change my settings because I have to watch it in the original language. I don't want to hear someone else's dub of that original language. You know what I mean? And I think that's evolving. That's evolution.
So Jitin, I think good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Before
Thank you.
before we end this webcast, I think I would want for the audience to hear whatever you can talk about, like what you're working on right now.
Yeah.
And what do you have in your pipeline, upcoming projects, and what are your plans for next few years? I mean, would love to hear that.
Yeah, well, we actually are fortunate right now. We have about 6 to 8 tangible projects on our slate that we are trying to get funded and mounted.
Wow.
3 of which will be mounted and be on the floors in the next 6 months.
Excellent.
One is a Gujarati horror drama. One is a lovely Indo-UK co-production that is about the women's rights movement, and it's got a lot of political, historical fiction involved. It's a fantastic script. Very excited to work on that. And then the third is just a full-on Bollywood massy rom-com with 5 songs and 2 timelines and your pretty actors, and it's going to be a very massy film. So different things, but again, what's consistent about all 3? The story. The story spoke to us. The story resonated with us, and the story is something we want to make, regardless of whether it's in Gujarati, whether it's in English, or whether it's in Hindi/Punjabi.
Right.
So that's boils again. The script is your client.
Are you reading all the scripts and you're
Oh my God! Of
Yeah.
course we are. Yeah.
diving into it?
Deep diving, reading it multiple times, having narrations of it, attending narrations of it. So yeah, we are. The script is our client.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Jitin, good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Filmmakers like you are working hard to take the cinema to the next level, and we want to see many more films
Thank you.
in future.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you so much. This has been great, and what a great setting. I loved it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we ended. It's a cut.
Okay. Cut.